Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and today I'm going to talk about Arctic Dogs. When I watched the trailer of this film and I saw it coming out, it reminded me of one of the bigger animation disasters released to theaters, Norm of the North. And I was excited as someone who reviews both animation good and bad. They really don't release bad animation like this to theaters on this level, and I was excited to review something that looked this horrible. I was like, this is going to be a notorious bad movie. It's going to be so bad. When you watch the trailer, you're like, that looks horrific. It's going to be like Razzies all around. Probably not, but I'm going to hate it. It's going to be a funny review. And then I saw it. And it's not good, but it's not bad enough. Obviously, this year is a lot of competition. We got 2 Norm of the North sequels and an Arctic Dogs. I mean, I don't know what's going on with, I guess it's like snow animals or whatever, Arctic animals, something, and animated films. But clearly, that means it's going to be a bad movie. But other than Balto, which I don't remember, so let's not go to bat for Balto or anything. This isn't like a really horribly bad movie. It's kind of just like so inoffensive, it's like nothing. That's kind of its worst crime because it was a huge bomb. It was one of the biggest bombs of all time on over 2,800 theaters for a movie of that size. Apparently this cost $50 million. I'm not sure how budgets work entirely, but this looked like it did not look like a $50 million production, maybe on the voice cast or something, but it was just so ridiculously inoffensive, uninteresting. Like, it just reminds me of the quote I think Nolan from Pizza Party says, if you're going to be the worst, then you should be the fucking worst. And Arctic Dogs wasn't. It was still bad. I still say it's probably one of the worst movies I've seen this year, but in the like blandest, most this is not anything category. Like, I think we all want this to be Norm of the North. We all want this to be food fight. It feels like it should be. It's not good. I mean, his tail looks like he has a fart balloon coming out of him the entire movie. The animation isn't great. The designs look really cheap. I don't know why they have the voice cast doing this. Why is Angelica Houston bringing her character or her voice or whatever from John Wick 3 into Arctic Dogs? I don't understand that motivation. It was just like, you let me down, and I wanted you to be so bad. I wanted you to be this horrible, terrible, bad movie, and you couldn't do that. You were just an inoffensive children babysitter. I mean, I don't know. I know you guys, no one would watch like these random kid shows on Nick Jr. or Disney Jr. or whatever they are. And you see some of these and go, who watches these? And they're like, they're kids before they like develop tastes or anything like that. Like, my daughter watches like Sunny Day and Butterbean, and nothing really happens on those shows, and they're not particularly great shows, but she loves them, and I'm happy that she likes the show. But Arctic Dogs feels like sort of a regular episode of one of those, just with celebrity voices. And I'm sure if a kid watched it, they'd be fine. And it's really hard to stay awake because this movie is like aggressively uninteresting, I would say, in that you've seen all these things before. You have like celebrities, and not interesting character actor celebrities, other than like John Cleese, who was putting his all into this for God knows why. Maybe they told him he gets more money or a free lunch or something. I mean, even though he's in Over the Garden Wall and he has done interesting voice stuff, I do not know why he gave this performance in this, because this movie doesn't deserve it. It's like something that you put on, your kid puts on Netflix, and you're like, I mean, there's good animated movies too. You don't have to, and it's starting and they're happy and you're like, whatever, I'm gonna just take a nap right here, right next to you, so you'll just be watching this movie. And if that's the best thing I can say about Arctic Dogs, it's good for a movie that a child will be really into, won't move, will totally be captivated by, and you can fall asleep during. And that's as best as it's gonna be. I don't even think there's much to even say about this movie. It's like Michael Madsen is in it. That's weird. Do they do anything with it? No. Do they have a Pulp Fiction reference? I wouldn't have known either way, and Michael Madsen's not in that movie. But I don't get why this had to be the bomb, because it's so not fun to talk about. It is like sad. It lets me down. It's like, not only did this movie bomb and it wasn't good, but it wasn't even good at being not good. It's like not good at anything other than John Cleese being a walrus with Kevin Kline kind of Wild Wild West spider feet or something. Like, I don't understand that. Like, the whole thing with it was like, oh, that's what you're doing? Bad guy? Okay, I guess. And then the puffins, and like, this is an animated movie made by people who don't like animation. They don't want to do anything new with the medium. They don't want to like challenge you. This is the side of animation that the cartoon community doesn't talk about. But if you've seen kids' entertainment occupies so many ridiculous amount of jobs, it would make you disgusted, frankly. And Arctic Dogs is that. I'm sure it'll play on Nick Jr. at some point or something, and some kid will watch it and they'll be like, oh, fine. But it's like less notable than Ugly Dolls. It's made by a studio that's literally called, I'm not making this up, Entertainment Studios. I can't think of a more anonymous movie studio. That's the name of a studio. Wow. This is directed by Aaron Woodley, who did do Spark. Good for him. This is just disappointing on so many levels. It's disappointing that someone made this, but it's also disappointing that I can't really make fun of it that much. It's like, okay, he thinks he can do this thing that fundamentally, he literally physically cannot be a snow dog, because you have to, push all this like heavy weight, and he physically cannot do that day in and day out. Like, it's just like, no offense, dude, but like there's just some things in life you just can't do. And he just like keeps going on. He does it, but it's just like, and then it becomes a global warming thing, and then I wanted to fall asleep. It's just like, my brain just felt so unchallenged of like, what do I do with this? Like, what even is this? Like, are we for real with this? Like, you can't even give me a bad Arctic Dogs movie right now. I need that in my life. I think we all need that. That's what you wanted. That's what you wanted this review to be. You wanted me to be ripping apart Arctic Dogs. But it's just like, there's nothing to rip apart. It's just like an inoffensive junk. It's junk in its anonymousness. And it's not having much to say. Of it's trying to be, I don't know, I guess thinking this is what animation is, this bland and boring. Like, I get that these people don't like animation and they made Arctic Dogs. They literally sucked the soul out of the whole medium, even in the bad sense. What's even here? What is he? He's this dog and he can disappear in the snow, and then they don't even bring that up for a lot of the movie. It's like, why even have that? Like, that barely became a thing. Why was Heidi Klum have two roles in this for some reason? And she sounds exactly the same. So I don't understand that. Like, there's just so many things in this that is just weird. Arctic Dogs is probably the most disappointing, bad, major blunder movie I have seen this year. Because it can't even bother to be an effective, good disaster of a movie. It is just a disaster that is kind of not even very notable. And that is the worst thing about it. I really wanted something horrifically bad or something underrated. I didn't expect that, but just like, give me something, and you gave me nothing. That is the worst. This is one of the worst things ever, because it can't give me anything to be excited about, to rant and rave about how horrible it is and everything like that. Arctic Dogs leaves you with nothing, because it presents nothing that you haven't seen before by actors who care nothing about this project. And then you just walk away thinking, man, how is Norm in the North more interesting than this? So if you have seen Arctic Dogs and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.